I think at the moment, in the last couple of days, it's very difficult to fathom this senseless act, but every aspect of their lives will be unpacked.
Searching for answers in the most tangled of webs. At the centre, a so-called murderous trio behind the police ambush, who the Australian reports may have been involved in a bizarre love triangle. School principal Nathaniel Train reportedly married to Stacey Train before she ended up with his brother Gareth.
Miss Train taught my children at Tara Shire State College. It was a shock to the system.
Stacey Train quitting her teaching job last year after refusing the COVID jab.
How can somebody that's we've known as a teacher, as a friend of the family, what made her tick? What made that switch flip? What happened?
There are also reports the brothers had been using ice and bragging about their off-the-grid, heavily fortified house, fitted out, locals say, with barred doors and windows, barbed wire and even tunnels.
These conspiracy theorists, we all know how dangerous they are. I think something should be done about the stuff that's on the internet.
Gareth's online posts offering a disturbing peek into the killer's mind.
I live in this world, but I am not of this world. Wake up from the global trance you are in. See past the game show. We are now being poisoned and chemically manipulated on a massive scale.
The 47-year-old convinced the government was running re-education camps, that vaccines were a conspiracy, drones were surveying his house, and that spam phone calls are actually covert monitoring.
I think our intelligence agencies do an outstanding job in making sure they identify these threats. This is an outlier, and I don't think any amount of scrutiny would have found what's happened here.
The area where the murders took place is known by Wyambilla locals as the Blocks. A bit of a mecca for people seeking alternative lifestyles, it's littered with keep out signs. Harsh, isolated, the perfect scene for the most devastating crime.
Chinchilla's my hometown, and I've never seen it so broken and devastated.
It's just absolutely horrendous and hard to believe.
We're all still reeling from it. I think we're all still trying to grasp why it happened. How come it happened in our community? Two very young people that just hadn't had a chance at life yet.
The Guardian's Joe Hinchcliffe joins us from Chinchilla. Joe, you've been speaking to locals, investigating the blocks we just heard about in the package. Can you paint a picture for us? What are the people there like?
They largely keep to themselves, so almost everyone lives behind a big metal gated fence. A lot of them padlocked, or at least they've been padlocked for the last few days. And nearly all of them carry some sort of sign warning against entry. So it's not the kind of area where you would enter into a stranger's property lightly, although obviously that was the task of the 4 young officers on Monday, and they were met with a hail of bullets.
Joe, we know Gareth Train had some pretty wild conspiracy theories. Is that unusual in the area, do you think?
Well, I can say that when you walk down the main street of Tara, one of the first things that you will see is a big black sign on which slogans are painted, hand-painted in white, and they talk about Australia descending into a dictatorship and the need to stand up for freedom. And the sign has flags fluttering above it talking about a people's revolution. So certainly there is a loud anti-vax presence, a minority presence, but a visible and a loud one. In terms of the more outrageous, wilder conspiracy theories that we know that Gareth subscribed to, it's hard to gauge how widely those are held. You know, Gareth, he was a survivalist, he was a doomsday prepper, he was preparing to live out the apocalypse in his property, and it's unsurprising that the people in town, the first they'd seen of him for many people was when he was splashed across the news. So people who hold these kind of ideas, they keep themselves in the blocks, and you don't really know what a lot of these people are up to.
And Joe, what's the feeling among the locals today now that the shock's starting to wear off?
Today, the shock is starting to wear off. People are starting to go back to their day-to-day business, but what hasn't worn off is you know, the deep sadness that people feel. You know, in a community like Tara, where these 2 officers were stationed who were killed, a police officer is not just a uniform, it's someone who you know as an individual. Maybe you serve them coffee in the morning at the bakery, or you bag their groceries in the afternoon at the supermarket. And by all accounts, these were young, lovely professionals going about their job, trying to keep the community safe. And the fact that they were brutally murdered doing that has left many people deeply saddened and distressed.
Well, Joe, it is such a harrowing story, but thanks so much for bringing us up to date with the latest details.
Thank you.